Wow! The land of make-believe!
Welcome to the world of Phuket word. It's absolute Groundhog Day with this chap. Okay? He's been making videos on Flat Earth since 2015. If you go through his channel, you'll see how he has not progressed one single pace forward. Like, Flat Earth has done nothing for him to progress anything. He's been making the same videos, 2015 with the whiteboard. Here he is, 2018 with the whiteboard. Same little diagrams, little man on the top of the earth, little man on the boat on the top of the earth. Okay? He's just making the same stuff. He has not progressed his understanding, his how our eyes perceive. Where's the thumbnail? There. He hasn't progressed his understanding forwards anywhere. He's just saying the same stuff. Same stuff. Here, perspective and parallel lines. Same thing. Same stuff. 3 years ago. He seems to understand the laws of perspective. But when he goes to equate that to real world observations, he somehow managed to skewer it to try and fit his flat earth bias belief. If you take the Miles Davis image, for example, he's trying to say that perspective makes the hills in the background shrink down, even though he fully understands, if you watch his perspective videos, he fully understands that the floor appears to rise on a flat surface. Yeah, the floor appears to rise on a flat surface. That means that all objects on that flat surface will appear to rise. So how can you have objects that are taller than objects in front on a surface, a flat surface that is always rising, suddenly drop below the smaller object? So he understands the laws of perspective, but he just cannot seem to understand that the real world doesn't conform to those laws of perspective when we see objects actually dropping down below the horizontal. Okay, in this video here, he makes bunches of videos like this, and he talks, you'll hear him say the floor appears to rise to our eye level, okay, on a flat surface. So he understands that, but then he'll try to take this and say, oh, but it makes things drop below our eye line, the horizontal. But if you have the eye line at the same height as this, is this the one that here, which he demonstrates it in this video right here, okay, that nothing will drop below this line, and yet people are showing observations where things that are bigger, which I think, does he have it in this one or is it another one? Yeah, here. So he does the demonstration of like a real world demonstration here, an object that's taller. Okay, again here he shows it cannot drop below this line of sight if you're at the same level. Okay, so he seems to understand all this. So when somebody shows him a real world observation just like this, okay, they say, look, I'm the same level as these lighters, and there's a lighter in the distance, but it's taller, it's a taller lighter, but it's dropped below these lighters. Okay, he's got the demonstration right here. And so the only way he could explain it is he went, oh well, yeah, you just dropped the camera down. But the observer has already said, this is the beauty of Miles Davis's observation. Miles Davis's observation is level. He's level with these lighters. That's why he negates that argument of perspective, that you can just drop the observer, drop the camera down. So, you know, Phuket Word understands these laws of perspective, but he can't seem to understand that the real world doesn't match those laws of perspective. Again, here he does it here. He talks about it in this video. He talks in this video about how the flat table appears to rise to Okay, so if there's hills or mountains in the background that are taller than these, they're always going to stay on this level. But in reality, people are showing that they are dropping below these smaller objects. And so they'd say, oh yeah, it's just perspective, even though he understands that the flat earth should always be rising like this. It's just, this guy cannot, in this video here, even in this video he says parallel lines cannot converge. And then he tries to make the argument that the sun can set behind a cloud, and he has the cloud on the floor and the sun on the floor. So he's basically saying that the observer's line and their lines have crossed. It's just Groundhog Day with Phuket word. It's just Groundhog Phuket word day with this guy. It's unbelievable. But this is the mental illness of flat earth. It really is. This guy sits there. He sat in a hangout with Dell the other day, laughing and going, they just don't get it. They just don't get it. They just don't get perspective. Like we don't get perspective, and how observations like Miles Davis's image doesn't work with your idea of how perspective works on a flat plane. And that they're sitting there laughing, saying everybody else doesn't get it. It's just hilarious. And I want to show, if anyone's seen Phuket words, I was trying to find the one where he puts the camera under the table. It's so funny. He's got the camera so far under the table. I can't find it now though. But I'll tell you what is a good video. His L-shaped sunsets. Yeah. So suns set vertically, and then they set horizontally. That's what Phuket does with his animations. Watch this. Okay, he has the sunset vertically, and then he'll make the sunset horizontally. Watch. Vertical. And now horizontal. But look, can you see how he's made the sunset below the horizon, right? But now, this is from when? 2016. But now if you jump to 2018, he's changed. He's slightly changed it, look. Now he says that the sun only sets halfway. Now his argument is the sun only sets halfway. It sets vertically halfway. Okay, has anyone seen a sunset halfway? This is what he's trying to say. There it stops. Okay, but in 2016 he was showing that the sun sets all the way down. All the way below, but it goes vertical and then it moves along horizontally. Where's his vertically down, all the way, and then horizontally. But now he says the sun only sets halfway vertically, and then it moves away horizontally. I mean, does that make any sense? This is just kind of mental gymnastics. Phuket word needs to go through to try and explain his view of the flat earth in reality, because reality doesn't comport with his ideology whatsoever. It's just amazing. So this guy in 3 years has progressed absolutely nowhere. He hasn't moved anywhere with his argumentation. He's been making the same perspective videos, and if you get an idea of how much of a linchpin perspective is in the flat earth ideology. Yeah, you go through his channel, most of his content is about perspective. Okay, without perspective they can't answer anything about how the world works in the real world, with the earth being flat. They literally solely relies on perspective. That's why you've just seen with the Miles Davis image, look, he's come out with a hour-long video on perspective. Yeah, Phuket Words had to make an hour-long video to try and deal with perspective, with the same, misconceptions. It's not well, he understands it, but then he just misapplies it to reality because it doesn't work. Anyway, that's all I had to say on that. Groundhog Day with Phuket Word.